Hello everyone, this is Manohar Reddy, Department of Cybersecurity, Institute of Aeronautical. Today I am going to discuss about the definitions and technologies on scanning and reconnaissance. Scanning and reconnaissance. So in this session, we are going to discuss about the following definitions and terminologies. So first one is what scanning and reconnaissance. Scanning and reconnaissance. And second one is what PGP and services. PGP and its related services. The next comparison of web threats. Comparison of different types of web threats. And operations of TLS protocol. Operations of TLS record protocol. So, what is meant by scanning and what is meant by reconnaissance? So, scanning is a set of procedures for identifying live hosts. So, scanning is a set of procedures for identifying live hosts or ports and services, discovering operating system and architecture of target system. So, identifying vulnerabilities and threats in the network. So, it identifying what live hosts, ports and services and target system, identifying vulnerabilities and threats in the network. So network scanning is used to create a profile of the target organization. So which is used to create a profile of the target organization. So scanning refers to collecting more information using complex and aggressive reconnaissance techniques. So it is used to collecting more information about any target. So it using more complex and aggressive reconnaissance techniques. And reconnaissance is a set of processes and techniques like footprinting, scanning and enumeration. Footprinting, scanning and enumeration used to covertly discover and collect information about target system. So the main importance of the scanning and reconnaissance is to find out the details of the target system. Details of the target system or target network. So they are identifying live hosts, ports, services, vulnerabilities, and threats in the network. During reconnaissance, an ethical hacker attempts to gather as much as information about a target system as possible. So he's trying to gather as much as information about a target system as possible. So here, the scanning refers to collecting more information. You can use any of the tools. And techniques. But the ultimate importance is what to get the information. And it leads to creating the profile of the organization. Creating a profile of the target. So following 7 steps listed below for doing scanning and reconnaissance process. These are the some steps for doing scanning and reconnaissance process. First one is what? Gather initial information. So basic information you need to gather. And the second one is what? Determine the network range. And third one is what? Identify active missions. And fourth one is what? Discover open ports and access points. And fifth one, fingerprint the operating system. And uncover services on ports. And map the network. So these are all the 7 steps listed below for doing scanning and reconnaissance process. So first one is what? Gather initial information, like basic information you need to gather. So normally target space, the target of the system, like any of the URL or any of the IP address. www.jntu.ac.in is one target, or else you can see 192.168.0.1 as one target. So the next, gather initial information, determine the network range, identifying active missions, and discover open ports and access points, fingerprinting the operating system, uncover services on ports, mapping the network. So these are all the steps for doing the scanning and reconnaissance process. And here the reconnaissance or scanning takes place in two parts. So they are categorized in two parts. One is active reconnaissance. First one is what? Active reconnaissance. And the second one is what? Passive reconnaissance. First one is what? Active reconnaissance. And the second one is what? Passive reconnaissance. So active reconnaissance. So in this process, we will directly interact with the computer system to gain the information. So here, this is a direct procedure. This is a direct procedure. You can communicate with the computer system to gain the information. And this information can be relevant and accurate. If you are directly interacted with the means, it shows that the relevant and accurate information. But there is a risk of getting detected if you are planning active reconnaissance without permissions. So before doing this active reconnaissance procedure, we need to take the permissions from higher officials or higher organizations. And if you are detected, if you are not taking any permissions, then you'll getting detected. Then the system admin will take care of severe actions against you and trail your subsequent activities also. So before doing this active reconnaissance procedure, we need to take the permission. We need to take a permission from the higher authorities or higher departments. The next one, passive reconnaissance. So passive reconnaissance. In this process, you will not be directly connected to a computer system. In this process, you will not be directly connected to a computer system. And this process is used to gather essential information without ever contacting with the target system. So no need to contacting with the target system directly. You can use third-party tool. Or third-party procedure to get the information. So these are the two types of reconnaissance procedure takes place to find the information about any target. Here, the Nmap, Wireshark, Google hacking. The Nmap, Wireshark, Google hacking. The above tools are more popular in real time to scan of the target network in different operating system. And these three are the most popular scanning tools. Are popular in real time to scanning of the target. And here we can see the different types of scanning and reconnaissance tools. So here vulnerability scanners tools are there, and information gathering tools are there, and proxies are one of the tools, and exploitation is one of the tools, and port scanning is also one of the tools, and packet analyzation sniffers also one of the tools, and password crackers also one of the tools. If you know, you will know all these details about the tools, then you will become an expert of the cyber security or network security expert. So you need to practice with these all the tools. Then you will get the information about the target as a vulnerabilities, as a information, as a ports, as a analyzing process. Anyway, anything we can include all these types of softwares. You can analyze all these types of softwares. Among these all the tools, some of the tools are prepaid, some of the tools are open source, and some of the tools are paid source. Some of the tools are open source and some of the tools are paid source. And the second one, what is meant by PGP? The definition of PGP. So definition of PGP. It defines that PGP is an encryption program. PGP is an encryption program that provides cryptographic privacy and authentication. It provides cryptographic privacy and authentication for data communication. So we can say that this PGP is a encryption program or encryption system that provides cryptographic privacy, that provides a privacy and authentication for data communication, data communication. And PGP is used for signing process, encrypting process, and decrypting texts also, emails, files, directories, and whole disk partitions, and to increase the security of email communications also, including increase the security of email communications. So here the PGP, with the help of this PGP service, we can able to encrypt, we can able to encrypt a message, we can able to encrypt a file, we can able to encrypt a text, we can able to encrypt message, files, and text. You can use any of the technique, but you can encrypt them. To decrypt them also, you can use some techniques. And here the PGP is encryption system is used for both sending encrypted mails and encrypting sensitive files. So encrypting mails, you can write emails in secure way, as well as you can encrypt sensitive files also. You can encrypt sensitive files also. So here the PGP services, with the help of these services only, we can implement that PGP as a secure email service. So what are those services? One is authentication, and second one is confidentiality, and third one is compression, and fourth one is email compatibility, and the fifth one is segmentation. So the first one is what? Authentication, second one is confidentiality, and third one is compression, and fourth one is email compatibility, and fifth one is segmentation. So these are all the services that are offered to write the secure emails or encrypting files or encrypting messages. So here we can see all the services working like functions. Digital signature is one, and algorithms used for the digital signature, DSS, SHA algorithms, or RSS, SHA algorithms. And for the message encryptions also, we can use CAST is one type of algorithm, and IDEA is also an algorithm, or else 3-key triple des with a Diffie-Hellman or RSA. 3-key triple des with a Diffie-Hellman or RSA algorithms. And for the compression function, we can use algorithm ZIP. We can use ZIP algorithm. And for the email compatibility, we can use the radix 64 conversion function, which is used radix 64 conversion function. And the segmentation is also one process. So digital signature, here the hash code of message is created using SHA-1, and this message digest is encrypted using DSS or RSA with the sender's private key and included within the message. For the message encryption, we can use messages encrypted using CAST 128 or IDEA or triple des with a one-time session key generated by the sender. And the session key is encrypted. Using Diffie-Hellman or RSA. That session key is encrypted. So first we need to generate session key, which is generated by the sender. The next session key is encrypted using Diffie-Hellman or RSA with the recipient's public key and included with the message. And next, third one, compression. A message may be compressed. For storage or transmission using zip functions. To provide transparency for the email compatibility, to provide transparency for email applications, an encrypted message may be converted to an ASCII during using radix 64 conversion. And fifth one, segmentation. To accommodate maximum message size limitations, PGP performs segmentation under reassembly process. So these are all the functions that are being used by the help of algorithms the help of algorithms. And the next one, comparisons of the threads on webs. So comparisons of the threads on web. So different types of comparisons of the threads. There are, the first one is what, integrity threads. Integrity is one type of thread. Confidentiality is one type of thread. Denial of service is one type of thread. And authentication is also one type of thread. So what is the integrity threads? So integrity threads are nothing but their modification of user data is also integrity thread. And Trojan horse browser is one also integrity thread. Modification of memory, they have to modify the size of the memory. And modification of message traffic in transit. Modification of message traffic in transit. For these all integrity threads, what are the consequences we are facing? What are the consequences we are facing? So here, a loss of information is there, and compromise of machine, and vulnerability to all other threats. So consequences are what? So for these integrity threats, loss of information is one consequence, compromise of machine, and vulnerability to all other threats. And the countermeasures, cryptographic checksums. So this is one among all different countermeasures. The best measure is what? Cryptographic checksums. Cryptographic checksums. And second one is what? Confidentiality. So confidentiality threats are nothing but eavesdropping on the net. So that means the data leakage on the net. The next, theft of information from server. Theft of information from server. Theft of data from client. Theft of data from client. Information about network configuration. Information about network configuration. These are all details which are exposed during these threads. And information about which clients talk to the server. Which clients talk to the server. So these are all confidentiality threats. If confidentiality threats lost, then all this information is to be exposed. So for these threats, the consequences are loss of information and loss of privacy. Loss of information is one consequence, and loss of privacy is one consequence. For these, countermeasures are what? Encryption process, and the second one is what? Web proxies. One is what? Encryption process, and the second one is what? Web proxies. Applying web proxies. And denial of service. And denial of service threats. So killing of user threats. So because of denial of service threats, the killing of user threats, and flooding machine with bogus requests. So sending multiple requests with bogus requests. The next, filling up disk or memory. Filling up disk or memory. Isolating machine by DNS attacks. Isolating machine by DNS attacks. So these are all denial of service threats. And for these threats, the consequences are disruptive, that is the distributive or disturbance, and annoying. Annoying is one type of consequence, and prevent user from getting work done. Prevent user from getting work done. So these are the consequences that we are facing with the help of these denial of service threats. And the countermeasures are difficult to prevent for this type of threats. Difficult to prevent. And fourth one, authentication threats. Fourth one, authentication threats. So impersonation of legitimate users. Impersonation of legitimate users. The second one, data forgery. So there is a chance to forgery the data. So impersonation of legitimate users is one, and the data forgery is also one. For these threats, the consequences are misrepresentation of users, misrepresentation of user, and belief that false information is valid. Belief that what false information is valid. And the countermeasures is what? Cryptographic techniques. Applying cryptographic techniques is one type of countermeasure. So these are all the threats that are available for the web, and the consequences that we are facing against these threats, and the countermeasures that we have to apply to do not occur, to prevent these consequences, And here, to provide security for this all do not occur threats, we are going to provide services. We are going to provide services for web security. So here, one way to provide web security is IP security. We can provide IP security as a service to web security. So one way to provide web security is to IP security. The advantage of using IP security is that it is transparent to end users. It is transparent to end users and applications and provides a general purpose solutions. So it is the advantage of using this IP security is that what transparency to the end users and the applications that provides general purpose solution. That provides general purpose solutions. Another relatively general purpose solution is to implement security just above the TCP. Just above the TCP. So the foremost example of this approach is the secure socket layer. Secure socket layer. That is nothing but SSL. Secure socket layer. And the follow-on internet standard known as TLS. Follow-on internet standard known as TLS. That is nothing but transport layer security. Transport layer security. And application specific security services. Application specific security services are embedded within the particular application. Embedded within the particular application. That means the application uses the service for providing the security. Individual applications, individual services have been implemented. The advantage of this approach is that the service can be tailored. The service can be tailored to the specific needs of given application. To the specific needs of a given application. So which is embedded with each and every application. So that service can be tailored to the specific needs of application. So here we can see the network level of service, HTTP, FTP, SMTP here providing the service as IP security above the network level. So network level service, and the second one is transport level service, and third one is application level service. So first one is what IP secure service. So creating service as IPR, IP secure. IPR, IP secure, that is below TCP. And the second one is what providing security as a service above TCP. Providing security as a service above TCP, which is the TLS or secure socket layer. And third one is what application level specific service. So providing Kerberos or some MIME as a application services, application security services for each and every application. So because of these security services are offered in the different layers, we can say that the different security is provided. We can say that the websites are in secure service, websites are in safe place. And the fourth one, TLS record protocol. So what is meant by TLS record protocol? So that record protocol is offered, it is offered with the handshake protocol. So it defines that it provides two services for TLS connections. One is confidentiality and message integrity. Second one is message integrity. So here the handshake protocol defines a shared secret key that is used for conventional encryption. Of TLS payloads. And the second one is what? Message integrity. So the handshake protocol also defines a shared secret key that is used to form a message authentication code. So the protocol defines some shared secret key to form message authentication code. The record protocol takes an application message to be transmitted. So here the record protocol takes an application message to be transmitted. The next fragments the data into manageable blocks. And third one optionally compresses the data. And applies a MAC applies message authentication code and encryption and adds a header and transmit the resulting unit in a TCP segment. Transmit the resulting in a TCP segment. And received data are decrypted. Received data are decrypted and it is verified and it is decompressed. So before decrypting, it has to apply MAC and encrypts it and adds header, then next transmit. So the resulting of unit, the resulting of the data is received at the receiver side, and the data are decrypted and verified and decompressed. Received data is decrypted, verified and decompressed and reassembled before it was being delivered to the higher level of users. Before it was being delivered to the higher level of users. So before delivering it, it has to check each and every phase of that record protocol operation takes place. So here you can see the record protocol operations. The first one is what? Application data. So this is what all application data. And that application data is divided into some separate blocks. That each individual block is called as fragment, and entire that dividing block segmentation is called as fragmentation. So each and every block is called as what? A fragment, but doing this operation is called as fragmentation. So dividing entire application data into manageable blocks. Dividing entire application data. This is entire application data is divided into manageable block. Divided into manageable blocks. So these are all manageable blocks. This is one, this is one, this is two. But each and every block is called as what? Fragment. Each and every individual block is called as fragment. Entire this process is called as what? Fragmentation. So now each and every individual fragment can be compressed. Every individual fragment can be compressed. So with the help of some compression algorithm, zip compression algorithm, the fragment which is divided as a fragment can be compressed. The next, applying or adding MAC to this compressed data. Applying or add to this compressed data. So adding MAC, that is nothing but message authentication code. Is to be added to this encrypted compressed data. Once the message authentication code is added to this compressed data, it has to be encrypted. With some encryption algorithms. It has to be encrypted. So the encryption algorithms has to be used to do this encryption process. Depending upon the type of bits, it has to be encryption. Suppose IDEA is one type of encryption algorithm. It supports only 128 bits encryption key. But for RC4, RC5, it encrypts up to 8 to 128 bits. It supports encryption for 8 bits to 28 bits. And then last, applying or appending TLS record header to this encrypted data. Applying or appending TLS header to this encrypted data. So this is the way of record protocol operation performs. So what it performs exactly? So the application data which is taken from the server, the application data is to be converted into fragments. Each and every data is converted into fragments. So this entire operation is called as what? Fragmentation. So individual block is called as fragment. The next, perform the compression of each and every individual fragment. So perform compression process with the help of compression algorithm. The next, adding or applying MAC to this compressed data. The next, applying encryption to this MAC. MAC data. After that, last, appending TLS header. TLS, transport layer security record header, is added to this encrypted data. Is added to encrypted data, so that the entire data is very safe and secure. Very safe and secure, because it taken by the MAC algorithm, and that means it is generated by the MAC key. Then next it is followed with the encryption process and appending TLS header also. Appending TLS header also. So because of this all operation, we can say that the data is in safe and secure place. Safe and secure place. So this is all about the TLS record protocol operation. So once again, we revise the topics which we discussed in this session. So here, the first one is what the definition of scanning and reconnaissance. So what is meant by scanning? So it is a set of procedures, set of applying tools, set of techniques. You can use any of the process, you can use any of the techniques to identifying live hosts, ports, services and all to get the information to create the profile of the target organization. We use to perform scanning. And types of scannings. Before going to do the scanning, initially we have to collect this information, like gathering initial information, determine the network range, identifying active missions, discovering open ports, fingerprinting operating system, uncover service on ports, and map the networks. These are all the steps mentioned below for doing scanning. So there are mainly two types of scannings: active scanning and the second one is passive scanning. So active reconnaissance is directly interacted with the system and to gain the information. But in the passive reconnaissance, that are indirectly connected with the computer system and they never interacting directly. So popular tools are Nmap, Wireshark, and Google Hacking are the popular tools for the target scanning. Here there are different types of security testing tools in the center. So vulnerability scanners, information gathering and port scanning tools, packet analyzers tools, password cracker tools, and exploitation tools, and proxy tools. And next, what is the definition of PGP? So PGP is an encryption procedure or encryption program or encryption system that provides cryptographic privacy and authentication for the data communication. So it is used for encrypting your files, encrypting your data, encrypting your messages, and sending security mails. And here are the services offered the PGP, like authentication, confidentiality, compression, email compatibility, and segmentation. These are all the services. And here are the functions that are offered by the services with the different types of algorithms. So digital signature is one function, message encryption, compression, email compatibility, and segmentation. And here comparisons of the threats. Different types of threats are available: integrity threats, confidentiality threats, denial of service threats, and authentication threats. So for all the threats, consequences and countermeasures are listed here. And here providing security for additional layers as a IP security, and providing TLS as a security, and providing individual application security service to the applications. The next, TLS record protocol operations. So to perform that operations, the data has to be divided into fragments. So each divided into fragmentation. Each individual block is called as fragment. Then next it has to be compressed. Then next it has to be applying MAC. Then next it has to be applying encryption, and then appending TLS record header. So this is all about know the definitions of scanning and reconnaissance, PGP, and TLS record protocol operations, and comparisons of the different web threads. Thank you all.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.